Unit 6. Food for Thought. Lesson 1. Traditional Food. Page 69. Exercise 3. Read and listen to the article. Where do people eat these traditional foods? Complete the last column in the table.
Food on the go. We asked our readers to tell us about the traditional food that they love. Here's what they said.
Most Egyptians know hawashi. It is a type of bread with meat, vegetables, and spices inside it. Some people like to add cheese to it too. You bake it in the oven and eat it warm. Delicious! You can also find it in some parts of the Middle East. Samir, Cairo.
Chips Mayai, which is also sometimes called ziggy, is a very popular traditional food here in Tanzania. We make it with fries and eggs fried in oil. I love it, but I don't think it is a very healthy snack, so I don't eat it very often. Elizabeth, Arusha.
Makuda are very popular in Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. We make them with potatoes. We boil the potatoes in hot water, then make them into small balls. Sometimes we put meat, fish, or cheese in them too. Finally, we fry them in a lot of oil and serve them in a sandwich. They're so good. Use Agadir.
Lesson 2. At a restaurant. Page 70. Exercise 2. Read and listen to an email from a customer at the Nile View restaurant. Circle the food that Rhonda and her family ate on the menu.
Dear Sir or Madam, my family and I ate at your restaurant last Wednesday. The restaurant is clean and comfortable, but unfortunately we did not enjoy our meal very much at all. It took a long time for our starters to arrive. We kept saying to each other, "When did we order our food? I think it was 40 minutes ago." I ordered a special salad, which must be quick and easy to make. After 50 minutes, the waiter brought our starters to us. The starters tasted delicious, but then our main courses came about 1 minute after we finished eating the starters. We didn't like that at all. We all ordered Sayadet el Samak as our main course. When it arrived, there weren't any tomatoes on our plates. "Why did your cook put no tomatoes on our plates?" we asked the waiter. He said, "We don't have any tomatoes today." After all of that, we weren't sure if we wanted desserts. But as it was my daughter's birthday, we decided to order them anyway. 5 minutes after we ordered, the waiter came back to our table and asked us, "What did you order for dessert?" At that point, we decided to pay for the food we had and leave. I had ordered basbousa, and I can also buy that in a sweet shop. So that's what I did. Your restaurant is a nice place, but I really think that you need to make some changes. Our family definitely doesn't want to eat there again, unless you improve your service. Regards, Randa El-Ketib.
Lesson 3. A new recipe. Page 72. Exercise 1. Listen to Farah talking about researching a recipe. Then, look at the recipe card and correct the mistakes on it.
What are you doing, Farah?
A research task for school.
That's an interesting picture. What is it?
It's called barramundi. It's a river fish from Australia.
Where does the name come from?
It's from a native Australian language and means large-scaled river fish.
So the name describes what it is.
Yes, and you can eat it in nearly every restaurant in the country. People usually eat it with tomatoes and potatoes.
How did you do your research?
First, I decided on a country.
And you picked Australia.
Yes, I didn't know anything about Australian food, so I thought it would be interesting. Once I'd decided on the country, I went on the internet and did a search for famous dishes. I looked at a few different websites so that I could check the information. I then looked at the questions from the project and tried to find the answers. The next thing I did was make notes. Then, I selected the information from my notes that I wanted to include in my project. Finally, I wrote the recipe card. Do you want to see it?
Yes, please.
Lesson 4. Celebration Food. Page 74. Exercise 2. Listen to 4 speakers talking about foods they eat in their country when they celebrate. Match them to the photos A to D. One.
At New Year in my country, we have a very big festival. At this time of year, we always cook special noodles, which are very, very long. In Chinese, this dish is called longevity noodles. It's a dish that we believe can help you to live a very long life. We say if you eat very long noodles at New Year, your life will be very long in the future.
2.
The bûche de Noël is a traditional cake that we bake for Christmas in my country. We roll the cake into a cylinder shape, then cover it in chocolate. We also often decorate it with sweets which look like leaves, or we put sugar on the cake to look like snow, so the cake seems like the branch of a tree in winter.
3.
My favorite celebration dish is an Eritrean stew called sebi. That's T-S-E-B-H-I. It's a delicious meat dish that we cook during the vacation season. We make it with lamb, onions, tomatoes, garlic, butter, and special spices. In my family, my grandma is the person who usually cooks the sebi. She also bakes a type of bread called injera, which she serves next to it.
4.
In my country, there's a popular celebration dish called Christmas pudding. It's a dessert which has lots of dried fruit, sugar, and spices in it. We boil it for a long time, then serve it hot with a sweet sauce. Sometimes you can find a coin in your Christmas pudding. People bake a coin into the pudding, and the person who finds it will have good luck.
Lesson 5. Literature. Page 76. Exercise 1. Read and listen to the story. Check the sentence that best describes what it is about.
The Living Cafe. What's that? Asked Megdi. The two friends looked more closely at the trash on the ground. It's a coffee cup, said Semi. And look, there's another over there. Megdi and Semi were in their local park. It was a beautiful day, and the flowers were in bloom. But everywhere they looked, there were used cups, plastic straws, and old food containers. Most of this trash comes from a nearby cafe, said Megdi. Why don't we set up a cafe that makes almost no waste? No waste? How is that possible? Well, take this coffee cup. Next time the person who used it wants a coffee, they can bring their own cup to the cafe. In return, they pay less for their coffee. That's a good idea. And instead of plastic straws, our cafe can give paper straws that don't hurt the environment. Semi's eyes lit up. There are ways to reuse waste, too. Think of all those coffee grounds. We can use them as compost to grow food. Food that we serve in the cafe. The two friends were excited. They talked about their ideas all the way home. Soon, Megdi and Semi bought an old building near the park. They cleaned it and painted it bright colors with environmentally friendly paint. They put in recycled glass windows and used old pieces of wood to make tables and chairs. They also hung lots of plants from the ceiling. On the roof was a little garden for growing herbs, fruit, and vegetables. A few weeks later, the Living Cafe opened. It was quiet at first, but then people started to notice it. They liked the way they could help save the planet with their morning coffee. More people came for lunch and said the food tasted delicious and very fresh. They were excited to hear that some of the ingredients grew on the roof of the cafe. The Living Cafe quickly became the most popular cafe near the park. One day, Megdi and Semi walked through the park again. This time, there weren't any used coffee cups on the ground. There were a few straws, but they were paper. Megdi picked one up and put it in the bin. Every little act helps, he said, smiling.